So now I'm going to add the 3.4 grams of the benzophenone. Next I'll add the 20 milliliters of the ethyl ether. I'm going to swirl it until it all dissolves. Now once all the benzophenone is all dissolved, I'm going to slowly add it in constant swirl. Constant swirl. See how I'm starting to turn on your Pepto-Bismol? That's what you want. That's what you want. Beautiful finish. Alright, so once it's hit this Pepto-Bismol stage, if you're going to do the experiment in 2 weeks, but I'm doing it 1 week, you stop here. If last stop this, put it in the cabinet and start over. And start from the beginning next week. But we're going to do this all in 1 week. So here we stop here at the Pepto-Bismol stage. Alright, I disassembled everything. Right? Pepto-Bismol mixture. Now I'm going to add 10 ml of acid. The way I'm going to do this, take the bottom of those pipette, 6 molar HCl acid, put it on the bottom. I'm going to squirt some there. I'm going to shake it around a little. Take a little bit more. Shake it around a little. You see some bubbling. Wait till the bubbling stops before you add more acid. Now, I'm going to add the acid, I'm going to mix it all together until I get a solution, and then I'm going to do my extraction. Okay, so this is the solution. Top layer, ether, bottom layer, aqueous. Going to get a separatory funnel here, make sure it's clean, make sure there's no leaks. The funnel, make sure this is closed. Pour this into the separatory funnel. And the two layers are going to separate. Two layers are going to separate. Ether layer being weighing less will be on top. That's where your product is. There's still a little product in the bottom right here that we're going to extract. First thing I'm going to do is get a 100 milliliter flask. And I'm going to pour out the aqueous layer. Pour out the aqueous layer. Okay. Now, the ether layer that's on top, I'm going to take a clean 125 milliliter flask, pour it into it from the top, pour it into it from the top. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to take, this is the ether layer, I'm going to take the aqueous layer, pour it back into the separatory funnel. I'm going to take 7 milliliters of ether, pour it in here. And I'm going to do an extraction. Remember extraction, the first thing you do is you swirl it. Just swirl it like this. Okay. Next thing you do is you get the topper, put it on, open it immediately. Open it immediately. Then give it one shake. Open it. Give it a few shakes. Open it. Give it a few more shakes. Open it. Give it a good shake. Open it. Now you're going to let the layers separate. Now once again, we don't want that aqueous layer. That will go back in our 100 milliliter flask. We're not interested in that. So I'm going to drain that off. Drain that off. I'm left with the ether layer on top. What I'm going to do with that, I'm going to add it to the other ether layer. Now I'm going to dry this. We want to get rid of the water, so I'm going to dry it with calcium carbonate, anhydrous calcium carbonate. That will be our next step. Alright, so this is the ether layer. It's got the product. Problem is it's got a little bit of water. We're going to use this drying agent to get rid of it. How drying agent works is you take a scoop, add it in there, swirl it around, swirl it around, swirl it around. What are you checking for? You're checking for that it doesn't all splat evenly. It moves like sand. You want it to move like sand. Alright, like I said, just a little bit more. Swirl around. Alright, so now it's got that sand look to it. It looks like sand. Swirl around, swirl around. I'm going to let it dry for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to pour it through a gravity filtration apparatus, and then I'm going to let the ether evaporate. Okay. So, the anhydrous calcium carbonate has been doing its stuff for like 15 minutes. I made up this filter, gravity filter intake. 250 milliliter beaker. broken off stemness, and I just took a paper, you know, the routine photo to have. So like this. I'm just going to pour it through there. Okay, it's going to drain through there, and the next step is I want to get rid of the ether. So what am I going to do? Well, you don't really like to heat up ether because it's explosive, so I'll do it the patient way. I'm just going to take this, put it in the back of the hood, take this beaker, put it in the back of the hood. In about 20-30 minutes, all the ether will be evaporated off. But first I'm going to let it all drain through. Alright, so we got all the ether to go through this garbage filtration. So I'm just going to take this, swirl it around over here, put it in the back of the hood there, and let do the rest. Let the hood take away the ether from the solvent, some of the mixture. Alright, so the hood took away the ether. I put some ice cold hexane in there. Okay, and what you're going to have to do here is you're going to have to break it up a little. Okay, you're going to have to break it up a little. Biphenyl product is colored. The white material is your product. Biphenyl product is the stuff you don't want. Okay. So I broke it up a little. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it through the vacuum filtration. So we go over here. This is the vacuum filtration. I turn on the pump, swirl it around, get my spatula, get what I can out. Spatula, right? Start it. Try to get as fast as possible. So what I'm going to do is give it another rinse of the 10 milliliters, let's say this time, of the hexane, cold hexane. Okay, so just give it another rinse. Go in here, get what I can out here, get what I can out here. Okay. Alright, do what you can. Do what you can out. So you can see, I isolated the crystals, I put them in here. I put just enough isopropyl alcohol just to cover the crystals. I'm going to heat it up now. As you can see, it's boiling, but there's still some that isn't in solution. What does that mean? That means I have to add a little more solvent and let it boil again. Get it to the point where it's totally saturated at the boiling point. Now I have it saturated at the boiling point, very hot. Put it on the table, and you're going to let it sit. Put it on the table, and you're going to let it sit until you get some crystals forming. Then you're going to put it in the ice bath. I had to do the trick of scraping the sides to get crystals started. So I scraped the side. Crystals got started forming. Now I'm going to put this in an ice bath. Put this in an ice bath, and then I'll collect the crystals in the vacuum filtration. All right, so it's been running for about 5 minutes. Turn it off. Take this. Get my watch glass. All right. Boom. There's your product. There's your product. Scrape what you can. Let that dry. You're going to take the weight of it. Get your percent yield. Any other chemical testing that you might have to do for the experiment. Okay. You're going to clean up, and that's your experiment. That's your product. Beautiful stuff.